Hello and welcome to another free code session. My name is Jason Bach and I'm going to work on, well, this isn't an analyzer, this is work that I have to do to the analyzers so that they support the new attribute thing, the attribute feature for operations. So you can now put an attribute on an operation, and in fact, I don't have it up. I had the file up in Notepad before. There it is. So this is the new code, and you can see here that, well, there's an inject attribute that has to do with injecting dependencies into operations, but that's not what I'm not worried about, but that's not what I'm concerned about here. It's this. So all of the create, fetch, and all the other attributes inherit from this attribute, and if you mark a method with this attribute, then it's an operation. It doesn't matter if it doesn't matter if or what the name of the method is. Now I still have to support that. So it can either be one or the other. Okay, so actually I've got some design notes here. And actually pull them over here to this screen so I can take a look at them over there. So I made some notes before about what I want to look for. So what I need to do, so if I come back here and I go into, I think it's this one. So yeah, so basically this data portal operation, just saying true or false, I don't think is enough. I need a new type that tells me, to think about this for a second, that it tells me if it is an operation, and then why. Is it because it has an attribute, or is it because of the naming convention, or both? I need to know both. Well, I don't need to know both, but I need to know one or the other, and then just a method that I'm wondering too, and I don't do this often, so I'm going to have to look this up, but doing operator overloads. If I can do how do I want to say this? I want to be able to do a conversion such that I can say this struct is equal to a Boolean. And if I can do that, then I can just say, hey, if this struct is true, which is basically both of them. I'm not sure if that's the greatest design in the world, but I think I'm going to go with it, and you'll see what I'm going to do in a moment here. Okay. So let's do that struct first. So do I want to put that in extensions, or do I want to put them into the base? I think extensions, because it's going to come off of something in here. So let's do that. Let's add a new class, and we're going to call it data portal operation. Operation qualification. Yeah, I think that's what I want. Okay. And again, here's a feature that I know you can do in C#, but I'm not sure if the version I'm using we'll see. So public read-only struct. Okay. So what I want to say is, I don't do a lot with structs at all. So this is going to be a fun one. So I want to say bool by naming convention, bool by attribute. Okay. And then I want a I'm going to finish that off, but I want a public. Well, okay, we're gonna have to just do this for a second. Okay, so I'm going to say public bool by naming convention. Okay. And then this is going to be public bool by attribute. And then in here, what I'm going to say is, come on, type JSON. Doesn't matter. By attribute. is equal to by naming convention by attribute. And there we go. Okay, now I got to look up how do you do C# implicit, explicit. So I think I want the implicit one. So I think what I want is a bool given this which would be qualification by attribute or qualification by naming convention. One or the other. Okay. So let's get some tests around this first so that this works the way I think it should be. So come down to the analyzers here. Say add class tests public static class test. No. Yeah. Okay. I keep forgetting. Uses the old and busted. It's not busted. It's just void create. So I'm gonna say var qualification is equal to new DPO Q. Oh, come on. There we go. Now, because you always get a default constructor, we're going to do that one, and we're going to say assert equal is false. Qualification by attribute, and then we're going to say the message is name of that. And then we're also going to say qualification by naming convention test method. Actually, just copy this. Now I could be like set one or set the other, because I want to make sure that by set one it actually does the thing. But I'm just going to say create with arguments. So we're just going to say true, true, and then these should be as true. The purest, or if you want to be more precise, you could say create with. Okay, I just talked myself into it. Create with by attribute argument as true. So by attribute, that's false. Okay, so then we're going to say by attribute is false. And then we're going to do another one here by naming convention argument true, false. So that should switch these around. Is true. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, I did that wrong. This should be as true. This should be as false. Now naming convention should be is false, is true. Okay, I think that's good enough. And then let's do a comparison. Compare when both flags are false. So that means just do this. And then we should be able to say is false. And we don't have to do this. And actually we can trim this down a little bit and just say that. And then do that. Okay. Now I can say compare when by attribute flag is true. That's false and true, and then that should be true. And then this naming convention flag. So true, false. That should be that. Okay, so now let's test this. Let's see what happened with our tests. You ran all of them. Why did it? I only said maybe because this doesn't have test class attribute on it, and then it doesn't know what the scope. Like with NUnit, it's different. With this, these are tests, right? Oh, I was wrong. Okay. Okay, well. There we go. Okay. God, I hope I do not have tests in other places where I did not put test class there. That would have been bad. I don't think I can look through that later. But okay, so this is good. Now what I need to do is come back up to this one and say this now returns a data portal qualification, as does this, as does this. Okay. It does change this a little bit, because you can't take false to you can't take a Boolean to this struct, because false would mean they're both false. If you said true, you wouldn't know which one it was. You know, is it one or the other? So that doesn't work. So I'm going to have to say if this is null, then return new data portal. Else so I just realized what I could do is say if this is null, then you return a new data portal qualification. Else you return yeah, I didn't think about that. I wonder if I could do this. Say, is the portal operation. Yeah, that wouldn't work, would it? You can't convert a bool to that. What I'm struggling with is I want to return, call this method. If it's true, then return that value. Otherwise, return the other one. Because as long as you... I'm not thinking this through very well. What I want to say is if you return one or the other. Because what I really care about is if it's true or false. But I guess could you do something? Could I say public combine with a qualification, which equals a new data portal that takes the qualifications by an attribute, or is it with by attribute? Oh, that's the second one. Okay. So here's a qualification by naming convention or by naming convention. Okay, so what I could do here is say, do this, combine with that. There we go. Okay. So if that's null, then you return that. Otherwise, you say, because the root one could be false, essentially, but that one could be a child. Okay, so now we need a is not null. Really, really do. I could say not this is null. And okay, this is where you can't be as well, you can say if this is null, then if this is null, return new DPOQ, like that. Else. Okay, so now I need to say, I thought, do I have a type? Really? That's interesting. Okay. So how do I do this? Oh, that's right. I just use a what about the run local attribute? I just did that one. Oh, okay. So I can just do that and say is run local attribute. I could say is data power operation attribute. Okay, so I need an internal static rule is data portal operation attribute. This. Okay, and then here I want to do that, and then let's make sure I get the name right. You know, I talked about this. I think I said name of that. If what I want is that, then it looks really strange, but it works. And I know I shouldn't be doing this. The people will be saying that's not what you should be doing. You're going around and changing code that you shouldn't be. But what I want to do. So it is a weird trick, but it ends up giving you the name of exactly what you want. Okay, hold on. That has to... Okay, so we want to call this Object Factory. Okay, there we go. And I could do those all for that, but we're going to stick for this now. Okay, coming back here. So what I want to say is data portal operation attribute. But I need to do it reflectively. So I need to say if this and then that, or this.base type is data portal operation attribute. There we go. Okay, so then I come back here, close that down, close that down. And what I want to do is say var by naming convention is equal to any of this, really. Okay, and then I also want to say var by attribute is equal to this. Oh, I did that a little bit too fast. Copy that code. Okay, and then I could say return new POQ by saying by naming convention and by attribute. And it's just that simple. You knew I was going to say that. You knew I was going to do that. And I don't need the parentheses anymore. I think it was actually telling me those are redundant. Okay, so let's kind of do the same thing here. Do this, that there, and then we'll say by naming convention is all of this. And then we'll push that and that. There. Now some stuff should break. Okay, so let's just see what breaks. Nothing broke. Okay, so then my next guess, which should be completely wrong, is that the test should break. One broke. That's interesting. Why did one break? No, I bet it had something to do with that the thing I just changed, which was the constants here. No, not there. Member constants. Was it actually called Object Factory? No, it wasn't an object. It was a mobile. It was interesting that only one of these broke, though. Only one. Maybe it has nothing to do with the name, but maybe it has to do with the fact that the child... Oh, that... Oh, is it getting confused because it thinks child data portal operation is, let's see. I wonder if it's getting confused because it's not actually doing the right thing. Stop. I was building a debug. There you go. Okay. Okay. So, this is no, nope. Otherwise, by naming convention, it should be false. God. It's not by is run local attribute, it's is data or operation attribute. Here we go. Pays to have tests. Pays to have tests. How many times do I have to tell people? Okay. Alright, so I'm going to record another video because this is taking longer than I expected, but I need to do, before I forget, I need to actually have some combined tests in here because I just added that. And then I need to have tests for, not I type, well maybe, no, a method. And then I think in here what I'll need to do is, these are probably, is child, is data, but have tests for here to say also find it when you're using the attribute. And be a little bit more specific with these and saying, is it one or is it the other? Technically, it could be both, but I don't really care about that, but I need tests around that, so they're going to be in here. So I will do another video on that. So thank you all for watching. Leave comments and questions below. See you in the next episode.